Let me ask you a question, and I want you to think about it honestly. When was the last time you truly felt comfortable, even confident, about your health, down there? I know, it's not something most men want to talk about, especially after 60. But I'll tell you, in all my years working with men just like you, this is one of those topics that always comes up quietly. Maybe whispered to me after everyone else leaves the room, or slipped into a conversation while we're talking about something else entirely. And that's exactly why I'm here today, to shine a gentle light on something so important for your daily comfort, confidence, and even your relationship, if you're lucky enough to share life with someone. Today, we're going to talk about a simple, natural oil that you can apply, down there, and why so many men over 60 are shocked by the results they see in just 7 days. Let me introduce myself. My name is Dr. Nolan Easton. I've been a urologist for more than 3 decades, helping men navigate all the challenges that come with getting older. And if you're tuning in, I want you to know that you're not alone. In fact, I like to think of this channel as a safe, understanding place for honest conversations about men's health after 60. No judgment, no embarrassment, just straightforward advice and a friendly voice you can trust. Now, let me tell you about someone I'll call Tom. Tom is 67, retired, and a big fan of fishing. But for the past few years, he'd been quietly struggling with something he hardly even wanted to bring up. He told me, "Doc, I just don't feel the same. My skin's irritated, sometimes things feel a little tight or uncomfortable, and, well, I'm worried it's going to get worse." Like a lot of men his age, Tom had been brushing off these little discomforts, chalking it up to just getting older. He'd tried powders, different soaps, even skipped showers sometimes, hoping less cleaning would help. But nothing seemed to work. What Tom didn't know, and what so many men over 60 don't realize, is that changes in skin health, down there, are more common than most people think. Whether it's dryness, chafing, redness, or just a general feeling that things aren't quite right, these are issues that can affect your comfort every single day. And the worst part? Most guys feel embarrassed, like it's something they have to just put up with, or worse, that it's somehow their fault. But here's what I want you to know. There's nothing shameful about taking care of yourself, especially as you age. The truth is, as we get older, our skin changes. The protective barrier that kept things smooth and resilient in our younger years gets thinner and more delicate. Hormones shift, circulation isn't what it used to be, and all of a sudden, something as simple as sitting in your favorite chair, going for a walk, or even being intimate with your partner can become uncomfortable, even painful. Now, this is where today's topic comes in, because I want to share with you a practical, safe, and remarkably effective solution. You see, over the years, I've seen so many men benefit from using a specific natural oil as part of their daily routine. And the results? Well, let's just say I've had more than a few men come back to my office genuinely surprised by how quickly things improved, sometimes in as little as 7 days. I'm not here to sell you a magic cure or some fancy product. I'm here to tell you about a simple oil, one you might even have in your kitchen right now, that, when used properly, can transform the health and comfort of your most sensitive skin. And the best part is, it's backed by both tradition and modern science. Before I reveal what it is, let's pause for a second. If you've ever dealt with any kind of discomfort, dryness, or irritation, down there, or if you've ever wondered if there was something more you could do to keep things healthy, I'd love for you to let me know in the comments. Just type a simple yes or no. Has this ever been a concern for you? I read every single comment, and it helps me know what topics matter most so I can keep helping men like you. And if you find value in what you're hearing so far, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell so you never miss a chance to take control of your health in these golden years. Alright, let's get back to Tom for a moment. After our first appointment, I asked Tom to try something different, not another cream from the pharmacy, not a prescription, but a natural oil. I explained to him how, after 60, the skin in that area often loses moisture much faster, making it vulnerable to cracking and irritation. Think about it. If you've ever felt like your hands or feet get dry more easily in winter, your private area is even more sensitive to these same changes. Our bodies are incredible, but they're also honest. They show us what needs attention, if we're willing to listen. Tom was skeptical at first. "Doc, is this really going to make a difference?" he asked me, looking for any sign that I was just giving him another pat answer. I assured him this wasn't just a shot in the dark. I shared with him how I'd seen men regain confidence, comfort, and even their old sense of humor after just a week of using this oil, because it does more than soothe. It helps the skin recover, strengthens the natural barrier, and protects against everyday irritants. And no, it doesn't smell funny, and you won't have to feel embarrassed if your partner notices. In fact, several wives have thanked me for suggesting it, saying it's brought back a level of closeness they thought was gone for good. Of course, whenever I suggest something new, I always make sure my patients understand why it works. That's just how I practice medicine, by building trust and making sure you feel comfortable every step of the way. And in this case, it's all about restoring what time takes away: moisture, protection, and a little bit of dignity. When Tom started using the oil, I told him to keep an open mind and give it a week. 7 days is long enough to see if something is making a real difference, especially when it comes to skin health. And you know what? The next time he came in, he had a big grin on his face. "Doc, I can't believe it. It doesn't itch, it doesn't burn, and I actually look forward to getting dressed in the morning again." That's the kind of change I want for every man who's watching this today. Imagine, for a moment, how much your day-to-day life could improve if you didn't have to worry about irritation or discomfort in your most sensitive area. Think about being able to go for a walk, spend time in the garden, or enjoy intimacy with your partner without holding back. It's not just about physical comfort. It's about reclaiming a part of your life that you might have quietly given up on. So, why does this oil work so well, especially for men over 60? As we continue, I'm going to explain what makes this oil different, how to use it safely and effectively, and what to expect in those first 7 days. But I want to remind you, there's no shame in taking care of yourself. In fact, it's one of the best gifts you can give to yourself and the people who love you. And remember, I'm here to support you every step of the way. If you have questions, thoughts, or even doubts, leave them in the comments. I read them all, and I adjust what I talk about based on your feedback. This is your channel just as much as it is mine. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. And let me know, has this message resonated with you so far? A simple yes or no in the comments means the world to me, and it helps me reach even more men who need this advice. Because after all these years in practice, I can tell you, there is nothing more rewarding than seeing a man regain his comfort, his confidence, and yes, even his smile. You deserve nothing less. Let's get into the heart of the matter, because if you're anything like Tom, or like so many men I've seen over the years, you want the facts, the why, and the how, without all the runaround. When Tom came back to see me after his first week of trying this oil, he was almost a different man. I could see it in the way he carried himself. He sat up straighter, he laughed more easily, and he even told me he'd started making plans for a weekend fishing trip with his friends, something he hadn't done in a while. That's what just a little comfort and confidence can do for a person. So, what is this oil I've been talking about? I know there's a lot of curiosity, and maybe even a little skepticism. That's normal. After all, we grew up in a generation where men were taught to tough it out, and not fuss over small things. But here's what I've learned in my 30+ years as a urologist. Sometimes the simplest solutions are the best ones, especially when they're backed by real science and experience. The oil I'm referring to is pure, natural coconut oil. Not the fancy scented stuff, not anything with additives or artificial fragrances, just plain, cold-pressed coconut oil. This is something you can find at almost any grocery store. You might have seen your spouse or kids using it for cooking, or maybe even as a moisturizer for dry skin. But what most people don't realize is how gentle and effective it can be when used down there, especially for men over 60. Here's why coconut oil is so powerful. First, it's packed with natural fats that help restore moisture to dry, fragile skin. As we get older, the skin in our private areas loses its natural oils, just like the rest of our body. This leads to dryness, cracking, itching, and sometimes even painful splitting. Coconut oil helps lock in moisture and acts as a protective barrier, preventing further irritation. But there's more to it. Coconut oil also has mild antibacterial and antifungal properties, which means it can help keep your skin healthier and more resilient against common irritants and infections. This is especially important because as we age, the skin in that area becomes thinner and more prone to little nicks or irritation, which can sometimes open the door to discomfort or even infection. Coconut oil acts like a gentle shield, helping your body stay ahead of these problems. Now, you might be wondering, is it safe to use coconut oil every day? That's a great question, and one I hear often. In my decades of practice, I have seen hundreds of men use it without any negative side effects. In fact, I always tell my patients that less is more. Just a small amount, a fingertip's worth, gently massaged onto clean, dry skin after your shower or bath is all it takes. There's no need to slather it on, and you certainly don't need to use it more than once a day. The skin will absorb what it needs, and any extra will simply wash away the next time you clean up. One of the things I love about coconut oil is how affordable and accessible it is. You don't need to spend a fortune on special creams or treatments. And unlike some of the chemical-laden lotions out there, coconut oil doesn't cause stinging or burning sensations. In fact, most men tell me it feels soothing right away. I remember Tom joking, "Doc, I feel like I'm giving myself a little luxury treatment every morning." And why shouldn't you? Taking care of yourself, in these small ways, can make a world of difference. It's also worth mentioning that coconut oil is safe for your partner, too. If you're in a relationship, you don't have to worry about transferring harsh chemicals or fragrances during intimacy. In fact, I've had couples tell me it's improved their closeness, simply because there's less discomfort or irritation to get in the way of enjoying each other's company. That's the kind of positive change that can ripple through your whole life. Before I go any further, I want to remind you, if this conversation is resonating with you, take a moment to hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell icon. And please, let me know in the comments with a yes or no. Is this the kind of practical advice you wish you'd heard years ago? Your answers really do shape what I talk about in future videos, and I always keep your privacy and dignity at the center of these conversations. Now, let's talk a little more about what to expect in those first 7 days. When Tom started his new routine, he was careful to keep everything as simple as possible. He used a mild, fragrance-free soap to clean himself each morning, nothing too harsh, nothing with dyes or perfumes. After patting the area completely dry, he took a small dab of coconut oil and gently applied it to the skin. That's it, no special equipment, no complicated rituals, just a few seconds each day devoted to self-care. After just a couple of days, Tom noticed the itching was gone. The redness that had bothered him for so long started to fade. By the end of the week, the rough patches of skin had smoothed out, and he told me, "I feel normal again." Actually, better than normal. He was even sleeping better, because he wasn't waking up at night from discomfort. It's easy to underestimate how much these small irritations affect our mood, our energy, even our confidence. I've seen men who avoided hobbies, social events, and even intimacy with their spouse because of persistent discomfort. But when you address the root of the problem, by restoring moisture, protecting the skin, and giving yourself permission to care for your body, life starts to open up again. Some men ask, "But what if I have sensitive skin or a medical condition?" That's another good question. In most cases, coconut oil is gentle enough for even the most delicate skin. But as I always tell my patients, if you have a known allergy to coconuts, or if you notice any redness, rash, or discomfort after starting this routine, stop using it and talk to your doctor. Every body is unique, and what works for one person might need a little adjustment for another. That being said, for the vast majority of men I've treated, this simple change has been a game changer. Tom's story is just one example. I've seen men in their 70s and even 80s rediscover comfort and confidence after just a week or two. It's such a privilege to see the transformation, not just physically, but emotionally as well. One man told me, "I didn't realize how much I missed feeling at ease in my own skin." That's the kind of result I want for everyone watching today. I want to keep this conversation going, so if you have questions, experiences, or thoughts about this topic, please share them in the comments. Not only does it help me tailor these videos to what matters most, but it also lets other men know they're not alone. We're all in this together, and every bit of encouragement makes a difference. If you're finding this information helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. Your support helps me reach more men who need these practical, honest tips. And again, let me know, does this message speak to you? A simple yes or no in the comments is all it takes. So, as you go about your day today, I want you to remember, you deserve to feel comfortable in your own body. You deserve relief from irritation, dryness, and discomfort. Sometimes, the answer is as simple as a little coconut oil, a gentle touch, and a few moments of self-care. And you'd be surprised just how much of a difference those small steps can make. As Tom's story continued, his life didn't just improve in the ways you might expect. Sure, the discomfort faded. He'd tell me he could sit through his grandson's little league games or drive his old truck out to the lake for hours without that nagging sense of irritation or itching. But the real change was in how he started showing up for himself again. There was a quiet pride there, a feeling I think a lot of us crave but don't always know how to reach, especially after 60. I want you to know that taking care of yourself isn't just about what happens on the outside, it's about what it gives you on the inside, too. When your skin is comfortable, when you're not constantly distracted by irritation, you sleep better, you're in a better mood, and honestly, you have more energy for the people and activities that matter most. I've seen this over and over in my practice, and it's why I'm so passionate about sharing practical, down-to-earth advice that actually makes a difference. So let's talk a little more about what to expect if you start this routine for yourself. The first thing most men notice, like Tom did, is the relief from dryness and itch. For some, it's almost immediate. The oil's natural emollients begin to soften the skin and restore that protective barrier that age and soap can wear down over the years. By day 3 or 4, the skin often feels less rough, less prone to redness or cracking. You might catch yourself forgetting about that old discomfort entirely. But there's something else that happens, and it's worth paying attention to. Many men notice that, as their skin improves, their confidence does, too. It's the kind of change that might seem subtle from the outside, but it ripples out into all sorts of everyday moments. You start saying yes to a walk with your spouse, to lunch with friends, or to just getting outside and enjoying the day. I remember Tom telling me that, for the first time in a long time, he felt normal again. He'd even started joking with his wife about being a new man. And that's not an exaggeration, I see it happen all the time. This is why I encourage everyone watching to consider what these small changes could mean for your own life. We're living longer than ever before, and there's no reason you shouldn't feel comfortable and confident at every stage. There's nothing silly or vain about wanting to take good care of yourself, especially down there, where problems can be hard to talk about. Of course, not every journey is perfectly smooth, and I want to acknowledge that. Some men might notice mild irritation the first time they try coconut oil, especially if they've got very sensitive skin or have had recent procedures. That's why I always recommend doing a small test patch on the inside of your wrist before using it on more delicate areas. If there's no reaction after 24 hours, you can feel much more confident using it elsewhere. And remember, if something doesn't feel right, stop, wash the area with warm water, and talk to your doctor. Your safety and comfort always come first. If you're still with me and this advice has helped so far, I'd love for you to show your support by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and tapping that bell icon so you never miss an update. And don't forget to leave a simple yes or no in the comments if you feel this topic has spoken to your experience or if you've ever wished someone would talk about this more openly. I read your comments every week and they help me know exactly what to focus on next. Let's take a step back and remember why this works so well, particularly for men over 60. As we age, our skin gets thinner and more prone to dryness. It produces fewer of those natural oils that used to keep things soft and comfortable. That's why something as basic as walking, sitting, or even gentle intimacy can sometimes feel uncomfortable or even painful. Add in certain medications, health conditions like diabetes or prostate problems, and it's easy to see why so many men start to feel less at home in their own skin. Coconut oil, when applied carefully and consistently, replenishes some of what time takes away. It restores moisture, acts as a natural barrier against irritation, and helps soothe away the little nicks and scrapes that happen all too easily. It's one of those rare solutions that's both simple and effective, just nature doing what it does best. Now, I know you might still have questions. Some men ask me, what about other oils, like olive oil or baby oil? That's a fair question. In my experience, coconut oil has the best combination of gentle moisturizing, mild protection against germs, and easy absorption. Olive oil can be helpful for some, but it tends to sit on the skin longer and can sometimes feel sticky. Baby oil, which is usually made from mineral oil, is less ideal for this area. It doesn't absorb as well and can sometimes cause irritation over time. That's why, after seeing so many men try different approaches, I come back again and again to simple, natural coconut oil. Others wonder, what if I'm dealing with more serious problems, like sores or persistent pain? If that's the case, I want to gently remind you, don't just self-treat at home. While coconut oil is great for everyday dryness and minor irritation, persistent pain, sores, or anything that looks unusual should always be checked out by your doctor. I've helped men catch health issues early, simply because they took the time to look and care for themselves in this way. So consider your daily routine not just self-care, but also a way to stay aware of changes in your body that deserve attention. For Tom, this simple step became a gateway to better health overall. Once he felt more comfortable down there, he started walking every morning again. He lost a few pounds, felt more energetic, and even started talking about taking a trip he'd been putting off for years. His wife told me he was lighter in his spirit, more playful and open. All from a little attention to comfort and skin health, proof that small steps really can spark big changes. That's what I want for you. A sense of ease, of comfort, and of confidence in your own skin. I hope you'll consider giving this approach a try, and if you do, I'd love to hear about your experience. Remember, every man's journey is unique, but you don't have to walk it alone. We're building a community here where honest, practical advice is always welcome, and your feedback is what keeps these conversations going. If this message has resonated, let me know in the comments. If you know someone who might benefit, feel free to share this video. I'm grateful you're here, taking steps for your health and well-being. And as always, if you haven't already, please hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell icon, because there's always more to learn, and you deserve to feel your best. As we come to the heart of this conversation, I want to reflect on something I often share with my patients. It's never too late to reclaim comfort and confidence. I've seen firsthand, year after year, just how powerful small, consistent steps can be for men after 60. Sometimes, all it takes is the willingness to try something new. Something as simple as applying a little coconut oil down there every day, and suddenly, life feels a little easier, a little lighter, a little more yours again. If you've stuck with me this far, I want you to know how much I appreciate your openness and curiosity. These conversations aren't always easy. For too long, men's health, below the belt, has been kept quiet, as if discomfort and irritation were just things we had to put up with. But I'm here to remind you, your comfort matters. You deserve to enjoy your daily life without distraction, discomfort, or embarrassment. Now, let me bring you back to Tom, because his journey captures what I hope for every man watching. Just a few months after starting his new routine, Tom's transformation was obvious, not just to me, but to everyone who knew him. His fishing buddies noticed he was joining in more often. His wife shared with me that their evenings together felt more relaxed and connected. Even Tom's grandchildren started teasing him for being the spry grandpa, not bad for a man who, just a few months before, was quietly worried about every trip to the bathroom. And the best part? Tom didn't do anything fancy. He didn't buy expensive creams, he didn't go through complicated procedures, and he didn't try to hide his struggles. Instead, he learned to listen to his body and respond with a little kindness and patience. That's something we can all do, no matter our age. If you're wondering whether coconut oil will work for you, I encourage you to take a gentle, open-minded approach. Start small. After your next bath or shower, when your skin is clean and dry, use just a fingertip of plain, cold-pressed coconut oil. Massage it in gently, let it absorb, and then go about your day. Notice how you feel, not just on the first day, but as the week unfolds. Give yourself a full 7 days, and check in with yourself at the end. Has the irritation eased? Does your skin feel softer? Are you moving through your day with a little less worry, a little more ease? If the answer is yes, even if it's just a little bit, then celebrate that progress. And if you have questions, concerns, or something doesn't feel right, don't hesitate to reach out to your doctor. Remember, your health is a partnership. I've spent over 30 years walking alongside men through all kinds of health journeys, and the most successful ones are always built on honesty and a willingness to try. I want to remind you again, if you found this advice helpful, or if it's encouraged you to try something new, please let me know in the comments. Type yes if you're ready to give this a shot, or no if you still have questions or need more information. I read each comment, and your feedback helps me create content that truly serves you and our growing community of men over 60 who are taking control of their health. And don't forget, if you haven't yet, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell icon. Not only does it support this channel, but it ensures you won't miss future conversations about living well, physically, emotionally, and even socially, as we all age together. As we wrap up, I want to encourage you to see this advice as more than just a quick fix for dry or irritated skin. It's an invitation, a small act of self-care that can spark bigger changes. For Tom, that meant more time outdoors, more connection with family, and a renewed sense of dignity. For you, it might mean better sleep, more comfort in your favorite activities, or a sense of pride in how you care for yourself. Every journey looks a little different, but every step forward is worth celebrating.